Hello, world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to my channel, The Life of Poon. I am truly grateful. I am truly honored. I am truly blessed. And I am so happy. And today I want to talk about a serious conversation, a serious topic of conversation. And what it is going to tailor to is the women. Because I don't know if men could benefit to it, but it's mostly tailored to the women. Okay, let's get started. And I'm gonna try to be real sensitive because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Because honestly, I know how hard it is to get out of toxic relationships. Because I know that when you truly love someone and put in your all, it can be hard to let go. So, I want to start off by saying and giving you a story. I hear time and time again from a lot of people, a lot of women, that they don't want to break up and leave their baby's father or their uh, significant other. And one reason is because of the kids. I was that kid in that predicament. And let me tell you, from a kid's point of view, it's not cool. It's not okay. And I hear time and time from women that they don't want to break up the relationship even though they know it's draining, even though they know it's not good for them, even though it's taking away their love for life simply because they're in love. And I hear them time and time again that they don't want to lose that person because they feel like, who's gonna love me? Because that toxic relationship broke them down to the point where they feel like they're not gonna be loved. And I've been there. So I'm trying to be sensitive because I've really been there where I felt like, even though I don't have kids, but I've been in a toxic relationship where I felt like, who's gonna love me? Absolutely feeling like damaged goods and that I was less than because of me verbally hearing it from someone that's supposed to build me up. But instead, he tore me down. And I realized that by you staying in those relationships when you have kids, you're affecting your kid more than you know it. Now being in the brighter days and after years and after the divorce with my parents, I've realized that, and my mom realized that as well, that love shouldn't be so hard. Love shouldn't be hard at all. Love should be building each other up. Love should be, I'm not going to say always sunshine and rainbows because you know life can get to you. But it shouldn't be hell every day. And it shouldn't be one of those things where you wake up and you're just like dreading the day because of an argument that happened and it continuously happened over and over and over again. I've been there where it put me in a depression because it was always an argument every single day, no matter what. I was toxic. He was toxic. I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. And I'm not pointing the finger at your relationship. But if you're staying in a relationship where you know it's not serving you and know that it's not doing you no good, and you're saying you're only doing it, and one of the reasons why you're staying in it because you want your kids to have a father figure, baby, let me tell you, if that father figure is negative towards you, he is being negative towards the kids, and they are seeing certain lessons that they shouldn't be seeing. Ultimately, what I learned by growing up was the toxic view that I had in my mind was, oh, if you love someone, you're gonna fight to the end, which can be true, but at the same time, it was one of those fightings where it was arguments that rah 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 coming from both ends, and I didn't see a problem with that. So I got into relationships thinking that it was okay to argue each other to death, that it was okay to verbally assault one another. It was okay to continuously being mad when you feel like you haven't been heard. But that was my toxic view from how I thought relationships to be. And it caused anxiety. I always felt like I had to listen to my parents argue because it always seemed like it was going to escalate. And I always wanted to be on standby to break them up if it happened. Thank God it never happened, but it would get heated and uh, verbally abusive, where it would like tear one each other down, and that wasn't the way to live life. And now being older, and now both of my parents being older, it's one of those things that we had to realize that it was a toxic thing that we was going through, and it was something that I can't stand for in any of my relationships any longer, because I took that and took it to all my relationships thinking that verbally attacking one another was okay. Going back to someone that verbally attacked us was okay. Thinking that all relationships was going to have their negative aspects, and those negative aspects didn't matter because we loved each other. And I thought that was okay. And I'm not sitting here trying to say go get the perfect person, because no one's perfect. But at the same time, don't be staying in things thinking that, oh, you need a father figure for your child's life, because that negative aspect of that father figure is rubbing off on your kids. And I'm pretty sure that negative aspect of those battles y'all have, you can't fully, I don't want to say love your kids, but you can't fully give them the attention that they want. And I'm gonna give you prime example. And I know I'm talking to somebody, but I'm gonna give you prime example. By my mom, and not even just my mom, but by people that I've seen in the relationships growing up that didn't want to break up, that continuously stayed, it affected everyone in the picture, and was it was just something that we all had to learn from. And it was hard because it just was toxic. And I'm stumbling over my words because I never talked about this. I talked about it probably to like one or two people, but I never really talked about it. And it was just one of those things that made me, as the child looking in, made me feel like, why aren't mommy and daddy happy? It affected me to the point where I always had anxiety. And to go back to my point, if you're doing that and you have children, you're not realizing that you can't fully love your child when something is so dark and so negative over top of your head that you can't fully give your child the attention. And I know that I love my mother so deeply, but growing up, now I realized that I wasn't able to get some of the attention that I needed was simply because she was battling her own thing. She was battling in a marriage that she wanted to be successful, but it was always something negative. So by a black cloud being over her head, she couldn't fully give me what I needed growing up. And I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, because I love my mom deeply and she loves me deeply, and I love my father deeply and he loves me deeply. And now we are, I can say, in a better place. But when we was all together, everybody was battling their own demons. And I couldn't get the love that I wanted growing up, simply because they were always battling and they were always not in the best of moods. And I can't say for sure exactly what demons they were battling at the time and what things that they were going through in their mind. That's a story for them to tell. But I know with my story, it affected me. And I'm pretty sure it's affecting your children as well. Because if you stay in stuff only because, oh, I want my children to have a father figure in their life, have a positive role model in their life. And whether that means you change your toxic ways and they change their toxic ways to fully grasp love and to build each other up. Because I'm telling you, if you both are tearing each other down, your children are picking up on it. If y'all are fighting, your children is picking up on it. And I'm like I said, relationships aren't perfect, but they're not supposed to be hard either, and a challenge every day. Relationships are to build one another up, not tear each other down. Because I'm telling you, the same way your child picked up on curse words and picked up on some of the other aspects that aren't so cute, they're picking up on the same relationship that is being taught to them right in front of them, which is you. And I said all this to say this. I know it's hard. I know it's painful. But you ultimately have to do what's best for you. And I'm not saying break up. I'm not trying to like get everyone to break up with one another. I'm not doing that. But what I am doing is saying that your children will pick up on certain things and it will affect them. Because overall, I love my father, I love my mother. But I wish they would have broken up long before they did, because it affected me in a negative way. And I'm pretty sure it's affecting your children as well. And that's all I have to say. If I stepped on some toes out there, good for you. But it all came out of love, and it all came out of respect, because I've been there. I seen it growing up, and I attracted that in my adult years where I was doing it to people that I loved. And it wasn't healthy. I was toxic. I had the problem. And I'm not saying people are out here, like my boyfriends, they weren't perfect as well. But I was toxic because of certain views and certain mind frames that I had growing up, thinking that it was okay. Because ultimately, I turned into that negativity. And I had to see myself to actually grow. I love you guys. Please look at any of my other videos, subscribe, like, dislike. But ultimately, if you dislike, you will come back to this video and realize he has some powerful words. And I'm not going to say that I'm right. But love you. Love your kids. Do what's best. And ultimately, sometimes the best thing to do when it comes to toxic relationships is see your toxic ways and see the other person's toxic ways, and to just let go and let God. I love you so much. Check out my other videos. and I will talk to you soon. All right.